Welcome to Lifestyle Solopreneur, the community for entrepreneurs who put lifestyle first. Join your host, Flavia Barris, as she interviews successful lifestyle solopreneurs and shares ideas to help you find the perfect balance between lifestyle, business, and self. Flavia is an attorney, marketing expert, and founder of several online academies. She's been featured in major media, including BBC World News, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Post, ESPN Television, and more. Join us for this episode of Lifestyle Solopreneur.
Hey, Lifestyle Solopreneurs. Today we get to speak with Dr. Noah St. John. He is known worldwide as the Father of AFFORMATIONS and the mental health coach to the stars. He is also a return guest on our podcast. He works with Hollywood celebrities, eight-figure company CEOs, professional athletes, top executives, elite entrepreneurs, and he is famous for helping his coaching clients make more in 12 weeks than they did in the past 12 months, while winning back 1 to 3 hours per day and 4 to 8 weeks per year as your own personal reclaimed time, which is amazing. His latest book is The 7-Figure Life: How to Leverage the 4 Focus Factors for More Wealth and Happiness. Welcome to the show, Noah.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be back again.
It's great to have you back. I wanted to have you back on the show because I personally really want to read this new book, which is coming out very, very soon. In fact, imminently. So tell us a little bit about that book. I know, and a lot of listeners haven't tuned into that last episode with you. So if you go into a little bit about sort of who you are and what you do, that would be great too.
Absolutely. Well, people have been begging me for this book. My readers, my subscribers have been begging me for this book for many, many years now. Again, the title is called The 7-Figure Life: How to Leverage the 4 Focus Factors for More Wealth and Happiness. And so the point is that as entrepreneurs, what we get stuck in many times is we're working really, really hard, and yet we're just not seeing the progress that we want. We're spending a lot of hours, spending a lot of energy, spending a lot of money, and we're just not seeing the return on investment of time, energy, and money that we want. And so that's the number one frustration that I've seen over the last 25 years of helping my clients to add 6, 7, and even 8 figures to their business in record time. And so, as you mentioned, I'm known as the Father of AFFORMATIONS and the mental health coach to the stars. I'm also known as the hockey stick coach because I'm known for helping my clients get that hockey stick growth, that we all want, in our business. Like you're going along kind of at a plateau or, at a sort of steady, whether it's steady growth or just kind of staying the same. And then boom, just putting these few things in place, you're able to get that hockey stick growth literally in just a matter of weeks. And so I'm really known for helping people make more in just 12 weeks than they made in the past 12 months while winning their lives back. So really, that's what the book is about. And really, that's what all my coaching is all about, is helping entrepreneurs make a lot more money, yes, but I think more importantly, win their lives back.
I think people in this day and age where there's so much television and Facebook scrolling and distractions, the art of sitting quietly with a good book that is teaching you something that you can really soak in and use it to change your life. It's kind of a lost art. Not everyone does this anymore. And I think it's detrimental, to society and certainly to everybody's business. It would be wonderful to live in a world where everyone just took some time out of every single day to do a little bit of reading. And, some people prefer fiction and action, adventure, a story, maybe a romance. But I'm big on, if I'm going to be reading, to me, it is just as entertaining to read about an entrepreneurial journey and hacks for just leading a better life or growing a better business. So I love nonfiction and I cannot wait to read your book. Tell us a little bit about how this book differs from your other books. Because this is what, number 18, I think?
18. Yeah.
Okay. Because I've seen your bookshelves that are just lined in books that you have written and published. And at some point, there's people who would say, what more can you say? There's so much you've already done. If you were to give somebody a reading list for the Noah St. John must read books in order, where in that order would this book fit? Would it be the first book you read? Would it be down after you've read a few others? What order? What reading order?
Well, I think a lot of people are going to come to this book as my first book. And the reason for that is very specifically that we really designed this book for the entrepreneur who is overworked, overwhelmed, and underpaid, which is only a few million of those, right? And so the point is that most people come to my work through my work of AFFORMATIONS, my AFFORMATIONS method, again, known as the Father of AFFORMATIONS, something I've been teaching for over 25 years now, where I teach people how to literally change your subconscious thought patterns in a matter of minutes, literally less than 5 minutes a day, using my AFFORMATIONS method. So that's my most popular book, called the Book of AFFORMATIONS. It was published by Hay House. In fact, this is the 10-year anniversary of that book, ironically. So that book came out 10 years ago, and it's got over 500 five-star reviews on Amazon. So very popular book. Again, that was my Hay House book. So that's probably number one. Then number two, up until now anyway, has been my Power Habits book, because I teach the power habits of unconsciously successful people, what highly successful people do unconsciously that they're, number one, not aware of, and therefore, number two, they can't teach you. So that's why a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners hire me as a coach, either hire me for one-on-one or group coaching, after they've gone to all the gurus out there, all the marketing guys and all the gurus, and they say, but Noah, I've spent all this time, money, and effort, and I'm still stuck. And I go, yeah, that's because they left out all the good stuff. And so that's what the Power Habits system is all about. So with this book, The 7-Figure Life, it really is about taking all of that previous work and saying, okay, here's how you can really leverage what you already have to get more of what you really want. See, when we look at what your life is supposed to be, now it's not like I'm telling people what they should do with their lives. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when we look as entrepreneurs, why did we get in business in the first place, right? And people, when I ask my clients that, I say, why did you start your business? Well, I want to have more money. I want to have more freedom. I want to have more time. I want to take my family on fun vacations. I want to be able to spend time with my kids. I don't want to have a 9-to-5 job. I want to get out of the rat race, things like that. So really what I realized it really comes down to is what I call the 4 focus factors, which is what I teach you in the book. And the 4 focus factors are time, energy, relationships, and money. And when you have an abundance of those 4 elements, or as I say, the 4 focus factors, that's when you're really living what we call the freedom lifestyle. That's where you have the time to do the things that you really want to do, the energy so that you actually enjoy doing them, the relationships so that you're with the people that you really want to be with, and the money so that you have the options to choose what you really want to do. And so what's really fascinating about the 4 focus factors is that most entrepreneurs are only focused on one of them, namely money, right? And they're just so focused on the money. Meanwhile, all the other focus factors are suffering. And so they're wondering why they're feeling stressed out. They're wondering why they're feeling like, oh, I'm working harder and harder and I'm feeling less fulfilled. Okay, maybe I'm making more money, but why aren't I happy? And that's really what the book and what this whole philosophy is focused on, is helping you have that freedom lifestyle so that you have the time, energy, relationships, and the money that's really going to give you that sense of freedom and fulfillment.
And you work with so many different people who come to you from different walks of life, different stages in their journey. Some probably are still doing the corporate grind. Others are now more free, or, at least kind of choosing their own destiny as an entrepreneur. And what do you find is sort of the most common, I hate to call it a mistake, because I don't like to look at life as like you either hit it out of the park or you made a mistake. But there are some things that people do that it causes more challenge in their own life than is helpful to them, right? And so what are some of those ways that people can kind of trip up on the path to their journey?
Well, the number one complaint that I get from my clients, from people who hire me, again, for one-on-one or for group coaching, number one by far is, Noah, I have so much to do and I have so much trouble focusing. There are just so many distractions out there. I've got this huge laundry list, this to-do list, a mile long, and I know what to do, but there's just so many distractions. I just keep getting distracted. And can you help me with that? And so really it comes down to that one word, which is focus. And that's why I call these the 4 focus factors. We have to focus on having the time, energy, relationships, and money that we really want. So I believe that word also comes down to leverage. Because if you really look at what leverage really is, at least in the context that I'm talking about it here, leverage means using what you already have to get more of what you really want. So think about it this way. Number one complaint I get, along with, I want to make more money, is, Noah, I don't have the time, right? And so what I want people to realize is when you say that to yourself, you're really lying to yourself. You're lying. And people go, what? And they get really upset. Like, what do you mean I'm lying to myself? Well, let me just show you something. Okay. So you're saying you don't have the time, right? Well, how many hours a day do you have? And of course, people say, well, 24 hours, right? I say, so you're telling me that Bill Gates and Mark Cuban and Warren Buffett and all these successful people, Richard Branson, Elon Musk, so they have more than 24 hours in a day, huh? And they're like, well, no, of course not, right? Nobody has more than 24 hours in a day. Everybody has the same 24 hours. So then they say, well, then you can't say you don't have the time. So it's really, you're lying to yourself. So what you really are saying that you don't know you're saying, and this is what I point out to people, is what you're saying is you don't have the right systems in place. Because if you don't have the right systems in place, it's going to feel like you don't have any time, right? So it really comes down to systems, not time itself, because time just sits there. Time just is. Time is going by for every single one of us on planet Earth, the exact same. So I want people to realize that when you say, no, I don't have the time, you're lying to yourself. What you're really saying is what we have to fix, and this is what I show you how to do this in the book, is to put the right systems in place so that you win your life back. So, like I said earlier, I'm known for helping my clients make more in just 12 weeks than they made in the past 12 months while winning their lives back, winning back 1 to 3 hours per day and 4 to 8 weeks per year. Now, I want people to realize that that last phrase is just as important as the first phrase. In other words, if I were to say to you, hey, here's how to make more in the next 12 weeks than you made in the last 12 months. Ready? Just work 4 times harder, 4 times longer. Don't take any breaks. Don't see your family. And just keep your nose to the grindstone and make sure you're just working all the time. Sound good? And you're like, well, no, that actually does not sound good, right? That sounds kind of
Someone
bad.
did write that book. It's called
Yeah.
Lean In, I think.
Right, exactly, right. Thanks a lot, right? Thank you. I already don't have a life, and now I get less of a life. Thanks a lot, So no, I'm teaching the opposite of the hustle and grinders. That's the hustle and grind crowd, and God love them, but that's not the life that I want. And I think a lot of people agree with me on that, which is, hello, I'd like to have my life. Is that okay? Like, why did you start a business? Right? So you could not have a life? That doesn't make any sense. So again, I am teaching, in fact, the opposite of the hustle and grinders, which is, hello, we can make more money and have more time, but you can't do that unless you put these systems in place.
I love to, even as an author, which is a type of entrepreneurship, right? You're selling your
Absolutely.
ideas and your advice and your mentorship. You're being strategic because you're
Correct.
coming up on this launch that's happening now for your book. And so there's probably a little bit, maybe more hustle and bustle in your work life because you have a book launch. But after this book launch is sort of, the dust is a little bit settled, and I'm sure there will still be a lot of activity going on. But what are you going to do? Do you have a big reward plan? Are you taking a trip somewhere? Just some downtime? Like, how do you, Dr. Noah St. John, reward yourself for having worked a little extra hard, a little harder than you normally would need to, so that you can treat yourself?
Yeah, I love taking vacations. I love taking time off. I mean, at this point in my career, I'm basically semi-retired, which is a phrase that I love because I love what I do. I love coaching, I love teaching, I love speaking, and I love writing. Those are just the 4 things that I absolutely love. So I have created these systems whereby I am not doing all of the things that I used to have to do in order to do the things that I love to do. So for the entrepreneurs listening to this program, I want you to think about what are those maybe 2, 3, or 4 things that I just absolutely love. And then how can I use what I already have to get more of what I really want? So going back to my point I made a moment ago, you have the time that you have right now. So you're never going to get, it doesn't exist, this thing that says, when I have more time. That's what every entrepreneur says that I've ever talked to. Well, when I have more time, I'll get around to it. And I point out, well, guess what? You're never going to have more time. All right. So why don't we put these systems in place right now? And then you can leverage that. And the same with energy. When are you going to have more energy? You're not. Energy just is. Right. And you say, but well, what about relationships? Yeah, you got to leverage the relationships that you have. And people ask me all the time, Noah, how did you get testimonials from like the biggest names in the industry, like people like Jenny McCarthy, Gary Vaynerchuk, Marie Forleo, Harvey McKay, Jack Canfield, Neil Donald Walsh, John Asraf, Joe Vitale? I mean, how did you do that? And I said, well, it started with one, and then I got the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And that's how it works. And so those relationships are built one upon the other. And the same with money. People say, well, I'll do it when I have more money. Well, if you are always thinking like that, then you'll never have more money. So to answer your question, I'm already basically every day is pretty relaxed around here. At successclinic.com, that's my company. I work from my home, so I have a 17-second commute from my bedroom to my office, and it's awesome because, of course, I get to do so many things virtually now with the technology that we have, just like we're talking right now. And my vacation that we're going to take, my wife and I, after the book comes out a few weeks later, we're going to be just relaxing on the beach in Florida. So, I mean, we have all this scheduled really for the whole year. And last October, we did a hiking tour of the Utah national parks. And, we got to hike Arches National Park and Canyonlands. And so we have these things scheduled in. And again, the reason I'm saying that is that in itself is a system. You have to schedule those things because they're not just going to magically happen.
A huge takeaway. I think for a lot of people listening, there's probably kind of a moment of, I should get rid of that statement. Like, oh, I'll do that when I have more time, or, oh yeah, I'll do that when I have more money, because that kind of makes it seem like this passive thing, like the time will someday just magically appear,
right,
or the money will just magically flow in, and then you can do these things. When no, I mean, you have to make time. You have to prioritize your time. But
right,
you were right. It doesn't matter. You can be the most powerful person on the planet, and you can be someone who's not living up to their potential. But both people have like 24 hours in a day. Like there's no,
right.
We all have the same amount of time that we start with. It's what you do with it that really matters. It's, board games where each person gets dealt like the same number of cards or what, and that's kind of it. And then from there, it's strategy. Like, how are you going to spend that time? Are you going to just scroll through Facebook for 5 hours today? Or do you want to help build your business or make those phone calls you've been like avoiding or So procrastination is a big one. What do you give people as advice on the topic of procrastination?
Another huge challenge for entrepreneurs. That's probably number two. But of course, you notice it goes directly with number one, right? Which is I have trouble focusing. And then I say to the person, so what are you doing with these 24 hours in a day? And then they kind of hem and haw, and you realize they're spending 2.5 hours scrolling on social media, an hour and a half watching Netflix. And it's like, okay, now, see, I'm not saying that you should be working all the time. So again, this is not the hustle and grind and say, okay, don't have any fun. All right, just work, 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 work. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, all right, listen, if you're going, this idea of procrastination, what is procrastination? Ironically, procrastination comes from the Latin word procrast, which means tomorrow. So it means what you're doing is you're putting off until tomorrow what you should have done 2 months ago. And so I've helped so many people. The fact is that I've published 18 books. I've helped my clients publish dozens of books, meaning get their first book published. I'm working with one client right now. He's been thinking about publishing a book for the last 12 years. We're going to get it done for him in 4 weeks. We have a process to get your book done in just 4 weeks. And I'm talking done, like from, I don't even know what I'm writing about to here's your book. We have a process that gets that done in 4 weeks. And it's a good book too. It's not schlock. It's actually really, really good. So see, everything is a system. And so that when you have these systems in place, it allows you to leave procrastination behind. So I definitely talk about that a lot in the book, because if you notice, focus is literally the opposite of procrastination, right? And by the way, I just want to mention something for the folks listening, is that if you think about what you're procrastinating on today, see, everybody that I've ever coached, whether in one-on-one or group coaching, every single person knows what they're procrastinating on, right? So procrastination is not just not doing things. It's not doing things you should be doing that would actually help you if you did them. Right? So it's not just, I'm not doing this. It's, man, I really know I should do this because that would actually help me. And so why don't you do it? Well, of course, there's a number of reasons, but it mostly comes down to, I'm afraid of screwing it up. I'm afraid of failure, and I'm afraid of success. What if it actually works? So ironically, and of course, I've been writing about this for 25 years, just as we can be afraid of failure, we can also be afraid of success.
And I love that all of this teaching is in your books, not just in your books. You also coach. You coach people, directly, group coaching, all of that. But for the authors out there who are author at heart, but have not yet put their thoughts, dreams, and advice into a book that they can share, not just with everyone out there today, but it exists in perpetuity. The book is still around when the author is not, in most cases, right? And it's something that children and grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren, what a gift, right? To have that book, to have that knowledge, that little part of your thought process that was put into black and white on paper that can live on beyond you. So there's people listening who are like, this guy's got 18 books and I'm sitting here with 0, even though I have books in my heart that I definitely want to get out there. The procrastination definition and talk probably kind of hit home a little bit. But beyond helping people cure the procrastination, what are ways that you would encourage an aspiring book writer to get that dream on the front burner?
Well, one of the things that really helps is to think about what will happen if you don't publish the book. And you just alluded to that. So you have all of this knowledge. Everybody listening, everyone listening to this program, I know, has a lot of knowledge that's in your brain, but that's the problem. It's in your brain and it's not out on the earth until it is packaged and sold in a package, which is a book is a package of knowledge. That's what it is. I mean, it better be. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, right? Is a package of knowledge that will help people achieve a result. I mean, that's what a nonfiction book is. Of course, a fiction book is a work for entertainment, right? So that's both perfectly fine, perfectly legitimate, right? Now, I specialize in nonfiction, of course, whether it's business development or personal development. So to help people get a result in their life, to reach their goals faster, whether it's to make more money, whether it's to lose weight, have a happy relationship, find true love, have better relationships with their kids or grandkids or whatever it might be, or get better grades in school. I mean, there's a billion things we could write about, right? So the point is, if it's only in your brain, it's awfully hard. In fact, it's very, very time consuming to share it with anyone else. So that's what's wonderful. And frankly, one of the reasons that I've published all these books. And I've got more coming out, by the way. I've got many more books that I'm already on the calendar, right? Coming out. In fact, literally more this year. So my point is that until and unless you package it in a format that can be packaged and sold to other human beings, you're left with it's just who you talk to. And that's great, but made it happen. Nobody knocked on my door and said, "Hey, Noah, we want you to write a book." I mean, that never happened and never will happen for most of us. I mean, unless your name's Kim Kardashian or something. But I mean, for us average people, nobody's going to come to us and ask us to write a book. We have to just do it. All right. Now, again, I have a process, a methodology, and it's a 4-week process that we get your book done from, I don't know what I'm talking about, or gosh, I've had this idea for years, to here it is, it's done, boom. Your book is available to be sold. Plus, by the way, we give you a marketing and promotional plan along with that. Anyway, so the point is that I want people to realize if they're sitting there with that book in their heart and their mind, don't sit there with it. I'll just give you a quick example of this. I had one client that I was working with, and she hired me to, help her get her book done. And I said to her, "Okay, so do you have this done? Is it ready yet, or has it not even started?" She said, "Oh no, it's all ready to go." I said, "Oh, really? Okay, so you've already written it?" "Yeah." I said, "Okay, well, so where is it?" She goes, "Well, it's actually in my closet." I said, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, it's I actually put it in a shoebox in my closet." I said, "Really? That's interesting." I said, "Just out of curiosity, how long has it been there?" And she kind of shyly said, "Well, it's been there 15 years." So imagine having your ideas in a shoebox in a closet for 15 years. Well, we helped her get it out to the planet in 4 weeks. You see what I mean? So, I mean, that's an extreme example, but that really happened. And actually now she's gone on to publish 5 other books, believe it or not. So we just released the floodgates, and hey, we love it when that happens for our clients.
Amazing. So back to your book that you didn't procrastinate. You didn't put it off. You got it done.
Yes.
It's not easy. It's not easy to write a book. I won't ever tell someone, "Hey, this is going to be a walk in the park." It takes a type of mental energy because you kind of actually learn your own material better when you have to, put it into black and white and into words that someone else can understand. Because even if you have the thought processes, the ideas, it's already there in your mind. Once you start putting it on paper, you actually have to flesh it out like all the way.
Right.
You can no longer be like 80, 90% understanding your own thoughts. You got to be 100% clear.
Right.
So tell us, where can people go to pick up your newest book, which is The 7-Figure Life, which it really does sound like it would be a great first book for someone to read from you.
Yes, definitely. Very easy to remember. It's 7figurelifebook.com. Easy to remember. So 7, the number 7, 7figurelifebook.com. And when you go to 7figurelifebook.com, you order it on Amazon, and then you put your information there on 7figurelifebook.com. And I have over $200 worth of free bonuses for you because you're listening to this program right now. So just go to 7figurelifebook.com, click the button, go to Amazon, order it, come back to the page, and then enter your information. And I've got some awesome bonuses for you there at 7figurelifebook.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show as a repeat guest. You're the kind of guest that we could have on, honestly, weekly and learn something new each time because you're very inspirational. It's very motivating to hear about everything that you're up to. And it's just great that you share what you know with everybody. I mean, you're really like, "Hey, it's in a book. Anywhere in the world, here is my brain. You can have it for a very affordable price." Because I think books are the best like gateway knowledge tool, right? Because it's a finite time investment. You can get from cover to cover and you know your own reading speed. So at least you can kind of quantify it. And it really just does give you a taste of how someone else sees the world and thinks. And we can all learn from each other. And I do hope that listeners, you all pick up Seven Figure Life. It's coming out right about now. And as always, Noah, great to have you on the show.
My pleasure.
Guess what, lifestyle solopreneurs? If you don't yet have an online business earning you enough passive income to live the life of your dreams, I'd like to suggest you consider trying out Kajabi. Kajabi is an all-in-one solution where you can create and teach online courses, publish a paid newsletter, launch a free or paid podcast, process payments, build one-on-one coaching portals for your clients, and much, much more. I personally use Kajabi to power numerous successful and profitable online businesses. Lifestyle solopreneurs, there's a free trial of Kajabi waiting for you at this link, www.kfreetrial.com. You can try Kajabi for free, no obligation, by going to www.kfreetrial.com. Again, kfreetrial.com, and that K stands for Kajabi. Starting an online business helped me break free from that corporate grind, and I hope it does the same for you. You have nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, and see you next time.